It is the courage to continue that counts. While this campaign has ended, the mission continues. Down here in Florida.
And then there were two. The Florida field narrows after Governor Ron DeSantis drops out of the race for the Republican nomination. Joining us now to discuss what is next is CBS News Miami's Jim DeFede. Good morning, Jim. Always good to see you.
Good morning, Betty.
So the governor was in South Carolina campaigning this week, and a lot of people expected him just to make that shift and focus there to see how he would do before dropping out. But he dropped out now. The question is, why so early? Why not just wait?
Well, look, I think his campaign really did die on a cold night in Iowa. I think it just took him a while to reach this conclusion. It's sort of like the stages of grief. First, he went through anger, which was the media called the race too early. Then there was denial, in which he started talking about how his 30-point loss in Iowa was actually a victory in some way. And then finally, last night, we saw acceptance that he knew he wasn't going to get the nomination. So I think it took him his campaign a little time to work through it. Also, money. You know, at the end of the day, campaigns run on money, and all of his had dried up. He had spent tens of millions of dollars on an all-in strategy in Iowa, and when you go all in on one race and you lose that race by 30 points, then your campaign is really over.
But Jim, he had such a huge war chest. Where did all that money go?
That's going to be something that people are going to be looking at for a long time. You know, I covered the 2016 presidential elections when we had a different Florida governor, a former governor at the time, Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush blew through $100 million in his bid to be president, only to be defeated by Donald Trump. Deja vu all over again. You know, here we are. This time around, it's probably closer to $150 to $200 million that this Florida governor spent, and again, ran into the brick wall that is Donald Trump.
All right, so Jim, make some sense of this. Trump and DeSantis have been less than friendly this campaign cycle, yet DeSantis threw his support behind him instead of Haley. Why?
Well, he sees that Donald Trump is almost certainly going to be the Republican nominee, and he's trying to keep himself as a viable option in 2028. He's a young man. Look, Ron DeSantis, you know, got better on the campaign trail over the last couple of months. He ran a horrible campaign overall, but he started to find his legs a little bit towards the end. He wasn't as awkward on the campaign trail. He started realizing that he needed to talk to the media. So he's trying to keep his options open for 28 and beyond. And I think that's why he got on the Trump train, as I think somebody rephrased it earlier, you know, to basically keep himself in good stead in the Republican Party. Plus, he is more naturally aligned with Donald Trump. He's always been sort of that MAGA kind of person, and he tried to run a campaign in which he ran to the right of Donald Trump, so it's hard to endorse anybody else, particularly Nikki Haley.
I want to shift to Biden. Should Biden be worried to take on either Haley or Trump? Because, you know, there's been some talk about Biden's age and, more importantly, about his verbal flubs and missteps.
Just as there have now been a lot of talk about Donald Trump's verbal flubs and mishaps, as you had in that first block, you know, confusing Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi and a number of things. So, look, this is the problem when you have two 80-year-old guys running. Now, to answer your question more directly, you know, I think Biden is counting on running against Donald Trump. It's a very dangerous strategy. I think Donald Trump is also counting on running against Joe Biden. Nikki Haley, you know, in a general election would probably beat both of them. but you know, I think Nikki Haley would beat Donald Trump in a general election. I think Nikki Haley would beat Joe Biden, or at least have a really good chance at beating Joe Biden, according to the polls, which have her well ahead. So this is a race that really nobody in America wants, except for the most devout believers in both Biden and Donald Trump. But this is the race it looks like we're going to have in November.
All right, Jim DeFede, thank you so much for your insight this morning. We appreciate it.